With 2020 drawing to a close, it's time to sit back and reflect on the year, and what a year it's been. Not even mentioning the massive events that have taken place in the real world, it's been quite a busy one for me and my channel. With that in mind, let's take a look at the top 5 models I've built this year. Hey guys, Matt from Model Minutes here, and this is my list of my top 5 models of 2020. It's taken me a little while to finalise this list as I managed to get through quite a number of models this year, but without any further ado, let's get into it. So, coming in at number 5, I've chosen the Airfix LCVP in 1/72 scale. This is a really well designed kit which fits together really nicely, and it didn't need any filler or serious alteration of the parts. There was a tiny amount of flash in places, but generally the mould quality was quite good. It comes with 2 paint schemes in the box, and I decided to hand paint the more interesting Royal Navy version. Sadly, it can't rate higher on this list as I thought it was a little expensive as it lacked crew figures, but generally it was a really fun kit to build, and you could even convert it to a remote controlled model if you have that kind of technical know-how. At 4th place, I've picked the Airfix Mustang Mark IV in 1/72 scale. I decided to do this one in a different paint scheme compared to what was included in the box. I used an aftermarket set of decals from Model Alliance to depict a Mustang IV as used by the Royal New Zealand Air Force in the 1950s. The Airfix kit of the Mustang is generally quite good. It has some fantastic details and different build options for the landing gear, canopy and flaps. I would have loved to have been able to place this higher in the list, but unfortunately the way that Airfix designed the model means that some of the parts are a little too fragile and snap when you cut them from the sprue. That being said, I've built this particular model kit a number of times now, and I will probably build it again in the future. Coming in at the number 3 spot is the Revell Panzerkamp 2 in 1/76 scale. I don't tend to build many ground vehicles on my channel, but it's something I'm looking at expanding into in the future. This kit was a joy to build. Although it's an older tooling, being originally part of the Matchbox range, it still has some pretty good details and mould quality. It comes with figures and a display base too, which really makes it value for money. It fits together really well, and I think you'll agree it looks pretty good when it's finished. I'd certainly be interested in getting some more of these ex-Matchbox vehicles with the display bases for future projects. Before I get into the top 2 positions on this list, let's take a look at a few honourable mentions that were good to build, but perhaps not my best ones this year. First, I'd like to mention the Budget Model Railways 3D printed model railway kits. These are fantastic value for money, and you can modify them as much or as little as you would like. They are a little harder to build due to the fact they are 3D printed and not injection moulded. As a result, the plastic can have a texture on it that not everyone likes. That being said though, I really enjoyed having the chance to build some of these this year, and I look forward to doing some more in the future. Another kit worth mentioning is the Airfix Westland Lysander in 1/72 scale. Although this is not a new kit, it was actually pretty fun to build. As I mentioned in the build video, I originally bought it back in 2008 and had to rescue the model in order to finish it. I stripped the paint and started again. At the end of the build, I was pretty happy with the results. A final honourable mention is to this Airfix BF109E3 in 1/72 scale. I did this one as part of a challenge where I tried to build it using only the included paints and glue. It turned out alright really, but it isn't quite up to my usual standard of build. It's a relatively easy kit to finish and you can do a good job straight out of the box, but it really made me think about all those little tips and tricks we use to build models that we sometimes take for granted. Now you're probably thinking, Matt, how can you afford to buy and build all these kits in a year? Well, that's a perfectly good question. It's thanks to my patrons over on Patreon and channel members here on YouTube. Their generous support goes back into allowing me to create content for the channel. If you'd like to join these people here on screen and learn more about the perks you would get as a patron or channel member, please take a look at the links in the description. If, however, you would like to support my channel for free, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on so that you never miss a modelling video. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome my new members with a shout out. They are Bev and Elliot. Thanks for your support. Enough of that, let's get back to the list. Coming in at second place is the Revell Avro Lancaster B Mark III in 1/72nd scale. I'm particularly pleased with this one as it was primarily hand painted, with only a few cans of various spray paints being used here and there. I loved the fact that you could display some of the engines inside the nacelles, and generally the quality and fit of the parts was quite good. I decided to finish this one as a diorama using some Airfix figures. Although they look quite nice, the plastic these people are moulded in is not great, and the paint didn't really want to stick to them. But I managed to get there in the end. It's one of the largest models I've built on my channel so far, and I'd certainly consider building other large kits in the future. Finally, the first place kit, or the model I'm most proud of this year, is the Airfix Hawker Typhoon Mark 1B in 1/72nd scale. I loved building this kit as it had really good mould quality and fit of the parts. Mine was the starter set version, which didn't have many decals and a relatively easy paint scheme, which meant it didn't take too long to build. I also used this kit as a test bed for my new airbrush. Although I had a few issues with the Humbrol paint, which I probably won't use in the airbrush again, I think that the finish on the model is really quite good. I love that this kit comes with the options of different armaments including bombs and rockets, the gun bays can be displayed open, landing gear lowered or raised, and the cockpit canopy open or closed. You do get a pilot figure included as well, but I chose not to include him in this one. I found this kit to be great fun to build and good value for money, and I'll probably get another one in the future. And with that, my list of the top 5 model kits of 2020 is now complete. What did you think of my selection? Do you agree with my list, or do you think there are other kits on my channel that I did better? Also, feel free to tell me which kit you built was the best this year. Let me know down in the comments. If you take a look in the description of the video, you'll also find links to connect with me on various social media platforms. Finally, I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.